Kate, by the way, if you don't know, Kate is awesome. Kate's business, I will tell you that Kate started her business in August of last year. By December of the same year, her business hit $32,000 a month. She is now one of the Amazon coaches. So she is perfectly placed to talk about this, and also perfectly placed to be an Amazon coach, because all of my Amazon coaches are building their own Amazon businesses and doing significantly well with their Amazon businesses as well. And she does product discovery sessions, and she also mentors the diamond clients as well. So Kate, I have unmuted you. Can you hear me?
Good evening. Yes, I can. Good evening, everyone.
How are you, Kate?
I'm very well, thank you.
All right, so I've got an interesting question, what I thought would be perfect for you. It's actually two folks have asked a very, very similar thing, so I thought it'd be kind of perfect with you. So I'll give you both questions, and then you can speak to both of them, because I know that you've done a lot of this. So the questions are, Kay's question first. What does a prep warehouse do exactly? And what is the advantage of using one? And also on the back of that, Ebony's question is, and when it comes to kitting, do many people do this themselves, or am I creating a nightmare? I thought you'd probably be able to answer that quite well too, Kate.
Yes. Yeah, because initially when we started our product, we did bring all the elements to Australia, and I must admit there were a number of Friday nights and Saturdays that I spent, I suppose, putting the products together, as did my business partner, as did anyone that came to visit, actually. If you want to chat, you had to get. But the business started to move very, very, very quickly, and so the next stage was to find somewhere in China where we could get those elements put together, which was to have the item put into the package and the label put on it, and other combinations that would include, putting them into poly bags and what have you. So that's where we initially started with a company in the US called what was it called? My Fulfillment Team, and that's a company that's out of Tennessee. They did the initial kitting labeling for us, and then sent off the products to Amazon, to FBA. That proved to be a bit too expensive. Ours was a low-cost product, and we were being very protective of margins in the initial arrangement. And so we found China division, and they grew with us, I suppose, and we expanded our product range considerably. And from there, they started to put together combinations of products so that we would give very, very specific instructions. We would send them a sheet, we would give them the FNSKU with the image, and then we would say step 1, step 2, step 3, each with a graphic that explained what the step was, and they would charge us per touch point. So if it means, opening up the box, that's one touch point. Second touch point is inserting the item into the box. Third touch point is putting the labels on. And then they would, or if it was, 5 items into a box and then into a poly bag, that kind of thing. And so you'd have to calculate the costs associated with how many touch points that you have. They would also store the product for us. So initially it was in my garage, then it moved to China division. We were very happy about that. And that was $20 per cubic meter. And what we would do is stage our product dispatch from China division to the US or Australia, depending on which market, or Canada, depending on which market we were working or needing extra product. Now that there's storage costs in the US, we are going to be staging out of a company that's in Oregon called Oregon Buy, Prep and Ship. So we'll be storing in China. We will be kitting in China, but then we will have some of our products stored in Oregon, and from there it will go to FBA.
And what's the purpose of putting your products into Oregon instead of going directly to FBA?
Well, look, just because of the whole, it's only for the lead up to Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we won't do that any other time. It's just the question of we've got some new products, and we're not so sure how they'll go. Getting our products out of Amazon, if they're not going gangbusters, it's kind of not worth it, the price wise. So we thought we'll just stage from Oregon, and then we can handle the volume, once the algorithm kind of gets wind of our product, like it did last year. We had to move pretty quickly. There was a lot of, I used to do lots of postings through Facebook. There was a period where it was a bit kind of vexed as to whether we'd get our product into the US in time. So our interim step will probably be the Oregon.
And so just to speak a little bit about Ebony's question then. So when it comes to kitting, do many people do this themselves, or am I creating a nightmare for myself? What's your view on that?
Look, for some people who are, price sensitive, and when we started, I had promised my business partner that we would grow it organically. I knew her husband would be quite negative if we had to invest a lot of money. So, our strategy was built around that. There are some clients that I'm talking to about kitting themselves in that initial stage. Australia is marketplace slower than the US. So I think it's quite feasible for people to do that initially, 20 to 100 items. It's a really good way to get a sense of your product, to get a sense of whether there's inconsistencies in the product, and get a sense of how the product comes together in terms of fitting into the kit and the difficulty or ease of putting the kit together. So, I think there's quite a bit of merit in actually having a hands-on experience initially, but then definitely moving it on.
Moving out
as quickly as you can.
I will tell you that, folks on the call, that China Vision is one of the things that Kate has mentioned. I know Kate speaks very, very highly of them. The company I use in Australia to do my prep and kitting is FBA Prep Australia. If you speak to Richard Aston, who's the guy that runs this company, he also happens to be one of the Aussie Online Entrepreneurs. If you mention to him that you're an Aussie Online Entrepreneur, you'll get 10% off of that as well, which is kind of cool that he's done that deal for us. So there's lots of opportunities to get the things done for you. But I feel as well that Kate's right with her advice as well. To begin with, if you've got a small amount, say, what do you reckon, up to 100 pieces, Kate?
Yep, something like that. It's quite manageable to, put the label on and put them in a box and bundle them up, and then you get a sense also of the logistics of it, in the sense of, is it 20 that fit into a box, or is it 50 that fit into a box? And so you get a sense of what your staging kind of arrangements are going to need to be if you are going to be working with a prep service.
There you go. I agree with that 100%. Kate, thank you so much for that. That's extremely useful. And kudos to you as well for your incredible success with your Amazon business. It's just gone from strength to strength. So well done, huh?
Thanks. Good night.
I'm going to mute you back, Kate. Let me just find you. I was going to unmute Bill, my business partner, just to talk about FBA Prep Australia, but I don't think I will. Instead, we will go forward with that. So this is who myself and for instance, we've just used FBA Prep for a big thing that myself and Bill, my business partner, Bill and I are documenting our build process to building a $50,000 a month business on Amazon in Australia. We're documenting that entire process in the Advanced Inner Circle. And this is the company that we're using to do that. They're doing a lot of stuff for us because Bill and I both discussed it and basically both agreed that we didn't want to do any of it ourselves. Clearly, it's impossible for me because I'm over in Portugal at the moment. And Bill, we just said, look, it's just been an absolute nightmare. So we both agreed it would be much better to use these people. But I think there's a lot of merit to what Kate said as well about getting a sense of what your product's all about and doing the first one yourself. I think there's a lot of merit to be said for that. Hey, thanks so much for watching that video, and I hope that you got some massive value from it. Before you go, do you live in Australia? If you do, this is for you. Would you like to learn how to sell things on Amazon here in Australia? Would you like to know what sells really, really well and what sells for the maximum amount of profit? Would you like to know where you can source those products from, whether that be in China or here in Australia, and how to source them so you pay bottom dollar and get maximum value for what you're doing? If you do, please subscribe to my channel and like this video, and you'll learn that and much more. It's the exact same information that people like Jeff from New South Wales I've used to make $45,000 a month on Amazon, that Sue, who's from the sunny coast, has used to purchase herself a brand spankly BMW every single year as a result of her e-commerce business, and the lovely Kate from Bowral in New South Wales has used to make $32,000 a year on, a month, not a year, a month on Amazon, and indeed Anthony, who makes $15,000 a month on Amazon, selling, as he puts it, odds and sods. If you'd like to learn the exact same information that they use to maximize their profits for their Amazon businesses, subscribe to this video, like my channel, post below if you want me to teach you something. Okay, I'm out of here. Speak to you soon. Bye. Subscribe. Do it now.